Maxine is out in theaters, the third and final installment of the X trilogy, which consists of the pretty good X, pretty great Pearl, and now this. By the way, I love that in this case the filmmakers respect the audience and we get to have titles which don't reference the original title in every single film, even though it doesn't make sense anymore. Like Solo, a Star Wars story, or Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. It's refreshing to see some trust in the audience being able to figure out that this is the same franchise, see that trust every once in a while. Anyway, all three movies written and directed by Ty West, all three star Mia Goth, this time joined by Elizabeth Dembicki, Giancarlo Esposito, Halsey, Kevin Bacon, Michelle Monaghan, and Bobby Cannavale. This is a direct sequel to X, the first movie in the franchise, and follows the same character of Maxine Minx. It's been years since the bloody events of the original. Maxine has become a successful porn star in Los Angeles. She's now trying to transition into becoming an actress in the regular movie industry. The film actually opens with her nailing an audition for a part in a horror movie, but horror also happens in her own life outside of the film, because there's a serial killer on the loose in LA, and he's seemingly targeting people close to Maxine. And someone is also digging up her past and trying to use it against her, which Maxine is very determined to stop. So, if you had told me 2 months ago that out of the two horror franchises getting a third film this year, A Quiet Place and X, one of them would be the best out of the three, and the other one would be the worst out of the three, I would put all of my money on Maxine being the good one. Well, color me surprised. I mean, obviously, if you've seen my review of A Quiet Place Day 1, you know I love that film, and I think it's the best out of all of them. Maxine, on the other hand, is the weakest in its series. Not that it's straight up bad, but it's the most flawed and has a disappointing final act, whereas I thought that that's where especially the first two films really shined, and that helps leave a great impression and also, obviously set expectations for the sequels. So I did like a couple of things. The performances, especially by Mia Goth, are very good. I also thought some of the side characters are really incredibly memorable, like Giancarlo Esposito or Kevin Bacon. The production design is spectacular. It really transports you into the Los Angeles of the 1980s. I like the music, and I like how the movie slowly builds itself up, referencing a whole wealth of various elements, exploitation cinema of the 1980s, the satanic panic of the same period, the atmosphere of Hollywood at the time, some classic horror movies, most notably Psycho, which is directly referenced, and the whole giallo genre. However, it puts in all of those things, and you keep thinking, okay, how is it all going to tie together in the end? And then the final act rolls in, and you're like, oh, that's how. That's a bit disappointing and kind of strange, if I'm being honest. So I can't, in good conscience, call it a good movie. I can say it starts decent and has an amazing vibe until about 3/4 of the way through. In the final act, it drops off significantly, and as a result is a much weaker film than its two predecessors. Still, happy to see the trilogy concluded and excited for what comes next from Ty West.